Welcome, everybody, to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast made for people who take full advantage of a full rest.
Yes, that is so true in real life and in game.
Exactly. I'm trying to keep them more thematic now.
You know, it's chaos the random, but no, that's spot on, and that's
I'm trying to keep them. I'm trying to keep them a lot more like to the point now, because the last time I did this, it was like solo RPG and all this shit.
I mean, listen,
Anyway,
you do what you got to do.
How have you been?
How have I been?
Yeah, how have you been?
God.
It's normally something that people who haven't seen each other for.
True.
They
Well,
normally exchange what's called pleasantries.
we're past pleasantries. Like, come on, we're like, okay, so
It's been a while.
it has been a while. I was actually thinking about that because I was like, oh, well, my birthday. No. And I'm like, oh, well, my parents came out. No. Oh, well, so, okay. In the span of me not being on the show, I have quit GMing, but I'm also back to jamming. So I'll get into that later.
Sounds like a roller coaster.
Oh, such a roller coaster. I quit jamming. My parents came up to visit from Indiana, which is exciting, whirlwind of emotions. We've had some medical procedures. I'm fine. No one's dying. Everything's great. And then I had a sinusitis flare up, which means I'm trying to fight my body so I don't get bronchitis this year. Christmas decorations, Thanksgiving got canceled, put back on, canceled again. And then last second, literally like an hour before we ate, they're like, hey, guess what? Thanksgiving. So like that happened. It's been a whirlwind of great things, scary things, all sorts of whatever. So if I start coughing on the show and mute myself, I apologize. I will try to catch it before it gets that bad. But
you do what you have to do.
Yeah. So how are you?
I'm all right. I also had a bout of the lurgy.
Oh,
Had to cancel on an interview that I was gonna do.
Yeah.
The Dungeon Maestro.
He's amazing.
It was fucking out awesome, and we're just kind of trying to reschedule now.
Yeah,
His
get him back.
His schedule, I think, with the DJ and everything he does on a weekend's pretty hard, so we'd have to do like a midweek recording. But yeah, I mean, I was so fucking gutted. I've been wanting to get him on the show for so fucking long.
We'll get him. We'll corner him.
Yeah.
We'll bribe him with goodies.
So fingers crossed we can get them on. Other than that, I mean, I've had a bit of a, like, between the sickness and all that, I had a bit of a lull in gaming as well. One of my games I had to cancel because my daughter wasn't well. She's all good. She's absolutely fine now. Good. But yeah, it was a last minute thing. It was like, yeah, guys, sorry. But it was priority. It was
every time.
It was Pathfinder, so I'm not massively broken up about it. Other than that, the only thing I've really done gaming is prep for or start reading One Ring. Bought a fucking ton of gaming stuff.
Yeah.
And I've done 2 Fabula games. One with
I was supposed to be at, but
one that you were supposed to be at, but
unfortunately, my parents were there.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's when your parents were there. Yeah. But we did it. It was myself, Natalie, and Connell.
Yeah, I heard stories.
3-person John. It was good. It was a load of fun. And then the following Wednesday, got back to our original Fabula game with Chris, Couch, Daryl, and myself.
That's great.
So it was good.
That's awesome.
It was really
good. That's good.
Sure.
Yeah.
But other than that, I spent money.
Oh, normal money or like gaming money? I know that our dear friend just got his Street Wolf sale. That was freaking awesome.
I bought Street Wolves from Table Cat Games. I had to. It was on offer. It was like, so then that prompted my mind to kind of go, do I invest in Savage Worlds?
Yes.
The answer
is yes.
I've got a living world planned with multiple campaigns, multiple settings and all that. And initially I was going to do like Forged in the Dark, but I don't think it can cover everything I need. So then I went to Cypher, which I already owned a lot of. But Cypher, I just can't quite get.
Yeah.
I like it. It's not bad. It's got some cool ideas, but it's also got other things in it which I just think are cumbersome. I just can't. I'd have to play it a lot for my opinion to change. So I went, Savage Worlds is the original I won't say the original, but it is the most well-known sort of
multi-tool,
multi-setting sort of tool. So yeah, I bought Suede.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. Welcome to the Savage World Club. I love it. I know that there's some cons to it. A lot of people have bigger struggles GMing it than playing it. But I do love it. Like, I've never played a Savage World game and walked away being like, it was like, oh, that's a good game, So
I think that was one of the things that kind of sold me, because I posted it out on Threads, and I can't remember who it was to give appropriate credit to, but that it was that line. It was, you might like it, you might not, but I've never walked away unhappy with a game.
Yeah.
And that sold me.
It's super reliable. Like, because I think it's because it lets you do whatever you want with it. And that's, I don't want to say rare, but usually a lot of the more popular game systems, whether it's mainstream or indie, it's like, oh, you want this kind of gameplay, this system. Oh, you want this kind of gameplay, this system. Whereas a Savage World is kind of like, do what you want. So it's cool. I really enjoy Savage Worlds a lot. It's funny because I remember you and Justin joking so much on Level Up. And I was like, oh, I'll try it just once. And now our entire table has 3 campaigns in Level Up. But they're all different, themed. So they're all fantasy, sure. But like we've got like a slightly post-apocalyptic anime vibe. We've got, a Tolkien vibe. And then the other one, I don't even know what categories it is. Maybe like a Netflix horror show vibe. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird, but you find those systems that make you happy and people to have fun and enjoy it. Like, enjoy your game, man. I'm super excited you're gonna try Savage Worlds out. I'm curious to see what you think of it. Like, thematically, like player, GM, the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it as well. What I'm gonna probably do is there's it's like a quick start thing that gives you a little bit of an adventure. I might get and run that for somebody.
Oh yeah.
And just see how it plays out, see how it works. So yeah, just a quick shout out to everyone in the chat that's joining us this evening. Guys, great to see you again.
It is good to see everybody again. I missed you guys. I missed chat. John, I missed you even. I miss being here. I love you guys. I love this stream. I love this podcast. And we have so much stuff to talk about in gaming. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I noticed your absence.
Yeah, it sucked. I noticed my absence. Not on show. Like, you did wonderful, by the way, by yourself. It was my birthday weekend, and I'm out in the mountains with no reception, and I get my little alarm that shows on, and I plugged in, and I saw you and Sam. I'm like, and literally as I was about to like interact with you guys, no signal, because again, traveling through the mountains, and I'm just like, dang it, like it's the pro. I love living here because you can remove yourself. But at the same time, if I'm on the phone while I'm driving, or if I'm like watching something while I'm in the passenger seat, like, come on, give me some signal, give me a booster.
No, it was a surreal experience, but I wanted to try it.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of go, right, there will be times when, one of us isn't available and I haven't been able to get a backup. And I thought, well, why don't I do this? Just kind of break that seal and see how it goes. And to be honest,
you did good. You survived.
It was a struggle, though. It was a struggle because you're talking the entire time. Whereas with you, I can shut the fuck up for 5 minutes. I can wind you up and let you go and gives me a fucking break.
Barbarian moment. Sleeves up. Let's go. All right.
There you go. And also the chat thing. I'm trying to talk but Sam, thank you, Sam, for keeping me company. It was wonderful.
She's wonderful.
To kind of, fuck your questions. And it was wonderful. I enjoyed it, I must say.
I had to give you kudos. It's hard to do. I'm actually planning on getting back into it, but I used to do YouTube a lot. I didn't do open stream, but like recording game sessions and then editing and putting them on. And the difference I never aired, that's the shit. I never published and aired the game sessions that I recorded by myself, because I would, during editing, watching myself talk to myself, I was like, this is horrible. But if I had, Scott or Connell like in my ear, even like the viewers could hear them while I'm talking to them while playing the video game, so much better. Just having that interaction to bounce back and forth was so much. I just saw my own reflection. It scared the shit. Don't do drugs, y'all. I mean, it's just chloroseptic cough drops, but don't do drugs. Anyways.
I mean, if you're ill and need medicine, do the drugs.
Do the drugs. It's true.
And
yes. Take
under
care of
those
yourself, please.
circumstances, please take the medication.
You're only supposed to take one of these every 2 hours. I think I've gone through a whole box in the last day. What?
So Connell is telling me about Savage Worlds being on Hero Lab, and he has actually sent me a screenshot of Savage Worlds on Hero Lab.
Hero Labs is so nifty.
It is, but at the same time, I think I became dependent on it in Pathfinder.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of why I'm a bit reluctant to kind of go down that rabbit hole again. Because it got to the point where without Hero Lab, I couldn't play Pathfinder. It was, then again, it was Pathfinder. It's a different animal entirely. But at the same time, the dependence was really off-putting. So I'm a bit, I've got it for, I use it for mutants and masterminds.
Yeah, and I love, okay, so ironically, I didn't stage this, I promise. I have a character sheet right here. We're going through character sheets because, like I said, I picked up GM again. Oh, I'm looking at this. Sorry, I got distracted. David Connell in the chat.
Yes, David.
No, it's so weird.
Good old Dave.
No, he said he likes the Hero Lab for the tidy of the character sheets. That's actually a discussion I've been going over with my players right now. Is that I have in my hands a character sheet, and it's my newest character that I'll be playing. And when I'm writing it out myself, I love it. It's fine, no problem, because I can kind of make sure everything is categorized and tidy and put notes where I want. When I'm doing a PDF like fillable character sheet online though, like on my computer, I hate it. I hate it because I can't put notes where I want, and the text font is different sizes. Unless you pay for like a PDF editor, okay? I'm just talking like basic. I'm not spending money on this, and I hate it. I hate it so much. So like, I wish that there was something like Hero Lab for everything. But you're right, though. I feel like I would be too dependent on it. But I do. I love writing in my stuff. It's wonderful.
There is, as an option, an alternative to Hero Lab, Demiplane. But it's,
I vaguely remember hearing about that, I think.
Essentially, it was one of the original creators of D&D Beyond has now started another sort of service called Demiplane. It caters to a lot of Pathfinder, but it also does an array of systems. And they've got character builders in all the systems.
Interesting.
And I think they do a 5e one, not D&D,
right.
for like 5e
sheet
offshoot.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, take a look at that. To be completely transparent here, the few times that I played D&D, I tried to use D&D Beyond. I tried to use their character builder. I am either online form illiterate or Atlas just doesn't do well with clicky click because like I couldn't figure it out. I ended up having to write it out. This is like they'd give me 3 options. I'm like, but none of those options are where I'm going with. Like, what is this thing? So I think I was just not doing it properly, but Atlas, not that Atlas broke D&D Beyond broke Atlas. So I couldn't.
So Demiplane currently features Cyberpunk Red, Starfinder 2e, Marvel Multiverse RPG, Vampire the Masquerade, Hunter the Reckoning 5th edition, Cosmere RPG, Pathfinder 2e, Daggerheart, Avatar Legends, Alien, Mutant Year Zero, and Candela Obscura. And Connell wasn't a big fan of Demiplane. I initially wasn't, but when I tried it, it was very much beta. And it has been updated, and my current character that I'm building for the Pathfinder game that GM Mistress Winter is going to be running for me.
Yeah.
I built on Demiplane, and it was all right. It wasn't fucking great. But, we're going to be playing on Foundry anyway, so.
I'll have to look at that. I'll have to look at it. Might as well. Yeah. Speaking of gaming and like character sheets and shit, I'm playing a Warlock. I've never played a Warlock. John, I've never played a caster. That's not true. I played a wizard once and I hated it. It lasted 3 sessions and the players instigated a TPK.
I must say, most TPKs are instigated by players.
Yeah, like this was not a like, oh, the GM warned us like, oh, well, don't do this thing. And we're like, oh, we can do it. All of us were messaging each other privately going, we hate this game, let's end it. And we all like ended it. But no, I'm playing a Warlock. I've never played a Warlock. I don't know how to play a Warlock. I'm doing something different and not different, like I'm doing something different with this Warlock. No, like I'm doing something. I've never played a caster, so I'm playing a caster. I've never played a personality that this character has, and I'm going to try it. I've never even had a character with the aesthetic that she has. So like I'm going so far outside my comfort zone. And it's interesting. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm regretting it. Okay, I'm not regretting it, but it's definitely one of those things where I'm kind of like, what the fuck did I get myself into? Because I'm like, we all know I'm a smashy smash. Like, I'm a very like a melee upfront character, no matter what I'm playing. I mean, in Fabula, I'm freaking like, smashy smash. But yeah, I'm very curious how Caster Atlas is gonna function, because I was looking at spells and how they work, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the D20 systems, as in 5e and Pathfinder.
Yeah,
They're a lot of work. You have to put a lot of
yeah.
work into them, especially because I don't know if 5e have like the difference between spontaneous and prepared. I'm not entirely sure is that a thing in 5e?
To be completely honest with you, I'm not even sure.
Like in Pathfinder, wizards are prepared casters, which means they select from their spell lists every day and they have the spell slots that they use. Whereas
Right.
spontaneous casters, they have a fixed set of spells that they can cast as many times. They work very differently, but I don't know if the has that equivalent.
I know Level Up kinda does, kinda not. Like, it's one of those things where, like, yes and no. From what I can tell, like I said, I'm just now doing this, so I'm very baby into this. But like, I have a certain amount of spells that I just know and can, cast off whenever. I think Cleric, you have to have stuff prepared in advance. I'm pretty sure. But my Warlock so far, it's just been like, oh, okay, I know these spells. Boom. That's I can cast them off as much as my level or something like that. It's so yeah. So like, yes, but not.
Yeah. So it's kind of clarified in the chat that the prepared casters prepare a set amount, but they can cast as many times as dictated from that prepared list.
Yeah.
Which is unlike Pathfinder, whereas if you want to cast, using Connell's example of Magic Missile, 4 times, you've got to prepare it 4 times.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah.
God, no. No.
I've never played that type of character in Pathfinder. It's like, I just can't be fucked. It's like, no, you've gone mute there, Atlas. You forgot how to do this after 2 weeks.
I coughed. I had to cough. Yeah, no, I've like I said, I've avoided caster at all costs. The wizard that I played wasn't even a full wizard because she was a ghost of a wizard. So I didn't even get to cast magic. I had the ghost abilities. It was a hot mess. It was a horrible game. I don't even care if that GM ever hears that from me. He can.
Not fair.
It was bad. It was bad. One of my players actually at my current table and we used to work together in the same factory, and we had been shooting the shit about these like really cool ideas of taking like old monsters like Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, the Wolfman, things like that, and turning them into like a fantasy style campaign for role playing. And I guess the GM at the time had overheard this player talking about it in a different situation and was like, oh, I love that idea, and decided to take it and run with it. But he ran with it wrong, and it was just a really bad game. Yeah.
Yeah, not everything lands,
Yeah.
As a GM, not everything lands. You try this shit and go,
yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up and let's start something new. It is what it is. You have a vision, but you also have to be able to translate that vision.
Which is kind of why I quit GMing 2-3 weeks ago, a month ago. Yeah, I can talk about it. At the time, I couldn't. Oh my God, I was so upset. So I'm running the Valley of the Kings campaign. It's my own homebrew storyline. It's not in a book or whatever. It's Level Up 5e. And everything has been going so well. The players really seem to engage in their characters. I've never run a game where I was pulling teeth. Like, my players take it and they run with it. Like, it's a wonderful game. I have no complaints. My players have no complaints. There was a game a month ago where 2 of my players had some very out of character personal life issues that bled into game. And it was one of those situations where I was trying very, very hard to balance it as a GM. And unfortunately, in game and out of game got so tangled that I had to stop game mid-session. It blew up, things got out of hand. And I flat out told them, like, listen, I'm ending game. But I wanted to make sure it was very clear. I was like, it's not like, I'm not saying like, oh, you suck, you're making me end game. But I was like, if as a GM, I cannot redirect you, then I am not equipped enough to run this game. And I called game, and we all had a very big powwow and chat, and we talked about things left, right, and sideways. And a couple of things came up from it. A lot of it was we had to talk as friends, like took out the players, took out the GM role, and just sit down and be like, what's going on? Like, are y'all okay? And we had to address it like that and deal with some real in-life stuff, which I think is important when you're approaching a table. Like, you don't know where people are coming from in their real life. And then the other part of it was mechanically, because we have time restraints on our games, I often end in combat. Well, when I end in combat, sometimes when the players come back, they don't really quite remember exactly like why they were doing a thing or what was happening or what perceptions had gotten completely blown out of proportion. Something that I described like a month ago, because there's a month in between my game. There's always a month.
Yeah.
Like a month ago, tactics didn't make sense to a month now people. It was just a hot mess. So now I am very much like, okay, we are not ending in combat. Like if the game feels like it's going to end in combat, I will go until we get to a pause point. Like if someone has to leave in the middle of combat, they're going to have to just leave. And I'm sorry, but like that's the way it is. But yeah, no, it was a hot mess. And I was like, I don't want to do this. Like if this is going to be what it's going to be, I don't want to do this because I'm not experienced GM enough to be able to untangle that in game, right?
Yeah.
So we were able to untangle it out of game, and after a lot of persuading.
Persuading.
Are we adding that to the list? Is that a new?
Persuading. I don't know, but that might be the episode title.
It might be. But
I can't be persuaded.
After a lot of persuading from my players, I decided we're gonna go at it again. I cleared up some mechanics that were not, like you said, they weren't landing. Like as a GM, I thought I had explained the mechanics of certain story points well, and they didn't. So I cleared that up. I made things a little simpler for certain players. For certain players, I made things a little more complex because they needed that. And we're gonna try again, and it's gonna be a 9-month time gap. Nobody's pregnant. There's no babies, but there's gonna be a 9-month time gap from where we left off to actually where we pick up tonight, because it's tonight's game.
So technically, it could be considered like a bit of a soft reboot.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of going, right, 9 months is right. What's happened in these 9 months? Let's do, which is fair. And it's funny you brought up the ending mid combat, because that's something that I hated doing. I couldn't stand it, and I've always kind of wondered how I could avoid doing that in future. Because sometimes you're so deep into combat and it's swinging one way or the other.
Yep.
I don't know how to do it, because one option, and I did consider this towards the end of my homebrew campaign, was just kind of going, right, you've won the fight. Yeah, fight's end. Especially, I mean, to be honest, these, like, Pathfinder is a game where you do so many fucking pointless combats.
Yeah.
That just kind of go, no, yeah, fuck it, you've won it, big deal. It makes no narrative fucking difference whatsoever.
Yup. Yeah.
That was one option, but then again, you do have the odd combat, which is significant.
Yeah, the story combats. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. An idea I've got is maybe adding narrative elements. So, for example, because like in a video game, when you're playing a big boss fight, you've got little cutscenes that happen, and it's almost like you're on a brand new combat.
Yeah, it's fair.
So maybe something like that. Maybe when you get to time, it's like, oh, and all of a sudden another pterodactyl breaks through the ceiling.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. And I think you have to be flexible. As a GM, I'm a very big believer on just like balance. Like a lot of people are, I GM this way and that's the only way to GM, or I GM this way. And I'm like, yes, Bella, I agree. I don't know if you guys could hear her bark or not, but
I think she agrees.
Yeah, she does. But there needs to be a bit of a balance, because I think that like the battle that led up to the issue of my last session could have been swept over. It could have been that player left for work, and I could have been like, okay, you guys fight through the night and you make it out alive. Like they literally had like one minor bad guy to kill.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be respectful of that person's time, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I could have just gone. I could have.
I mean, one thing I did start doing in my Pathfinder games is when it is a non sort of crucial combat, and like Connell says in the adventure paths, it's full of them.
Yeah.
When it gets to the point which I've always referred to as cleanup, when you know the way the battle's going, you know the players are going to win, and it's just getting to the point where it's like, okay, and I will just go right. Go around the table and just kind of go by initiative. how does this combat end? Tell me. And
Oh, I like that.
I just cut it short. The moment I see that the combat is now all we're doing is just wading through the end,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, tell me how it ends. What does you do? And if they expend resources, they expend resources.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that a lot. I might have to start using that.
I mean, to be fair, in Pathfinder, it's the most fucking tedious part of the game.
I try to keep my, like, all of my combat, for the most part, is narrative. Not narrative, not narrative, like, I'm telling a story about how the combat's going, but, like, it's never a tedious, just random, like, you come across some goblins, ta-da, let's fight these goblins, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, oh, hang on.
Okay.
I'm good. So, like, they came across a raiding group, which, of course, it's like, oh, it's just some raiders, right? No, half of these raiders were actually undercover militia from, the King's Valley, and the other half are this mysterious force that somehow knew one of the players and took off running. The other one, I have secrets. I have secrets in my combat. That's really good. I'm not supposed to be talking this much.
No, but I mean, I think we're really kind of. She hasn't done it for 2 weeks. She's a bit rusty, folks. You choking to death gives me good clips.
It does. That's good.
No, I mean, if I could pinpoint one thing that killed me with Pathfinder, it's just the fact that a third of the fucking game is combat.
Yeah.
And that is not me being hyperbolic. That is, it is stated in the rulebook. There are 3 modes of gaming. There is downtime, exploration, combat. And it's an hour or an hour and a half worth of game time to resolve 20 fucking seconds in game.
That's insane.
Which does not progress the story. I am done with these types of games. They're fucking bullshit, if you ask me.
That's okay. Bella's done with them too. I like combat when it is cinematic. I know that sounds dumb, but like if I can sit at a table and the combat feels like I'm watching an episode of Arcane, my jam, by the way. I'm not going to get onto that bandwagon or that soapbox, but anyways, if it feels like I'm watching an episode of Arcane, or it feels like I'm watching a Lord of the Rings movie, I'm here for that combat. I love it. Like when it's very character driven and very story driven, I'm good. When it's smashing out numbers for no reason, I want to scream.
Yeah, it just gets to a point of kind of going, right,
I hit
time
them.
to move the
Okay,
story forward.
I hit them. Their turn. Like, yeah, move the story along.
Yeah, I mean, there was that thing not long ago where people came out and there was a big hoo-ha. All the 5e fanboys were getting their knickers in a twist because somebody went and said, oh, it's not a TTRPG, it's a war game. Which I personally found it was fucking funny.
It was hilarious how upset people were getting over that.
Which, I mean, there is an element of truth to it, but I just kind of strikes me as weird that they singled out 5e and not fucking Pathfinder. Because, as wargamey as 5e is, Pathfinder's fucking twice as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just sat there just watching and just kind of going, I'm not even going to chime in.
Yeah.
Because it's like, have you heard of Pathfinder?
Yeah.
But it was fucking funny just to see everybody getting there.
Yeah.
It was a glorious. It was almost as good as something I would have done myself just to watch the chaos.
Actually, speaking of watching the chaos, like I said, I'm playing a warlock, right? And on my threads, I posted, I'm playing warlock for the first time ever. Tell me the wrong ways to play it. I thought I was going to get like 2 or 3 smart ass comments about like, oh, there's no wrong way to play warlock, blah, 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 blah. I got fucking 53 comments, and they almost all are so hilarious. Like, our good friend Tess was like, you need a good stick and a cape, everything else falls in place. There's another one that's like, have a crisis of faith and change patron, but then call them daddy and make kissy faces every time. These people are unhinged. They're absolutely unhinged. And I fucking love the internet as much as I hate it. And like you were just saying, people make this huge ordeal over something that you're going, what the hell? On the other hand, the internet can be an amazing place of amazing people, and I'm here for it. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, like I posted, what's the most ridiculous thing? Or what's the most ridiculous
derail, right?
Your campaign has taken?
Yeah.
I got responses. All right, so I got a response from Ian Thomas Healy, which in a superhero game I ran, had a PC who was unlucky. When another PC transformed into his battle mode, which was basically a huge white ape thing, I spontaneously declared the unlucky PC was allergic to the other's fare. and
Oh my God.
made him spend the rest of the session sneezing and sniffling with a -1 penalty to actions and completely
that.
botching their stealth plan.
I
Everyone
love
thought it
that.
was hilarious, especially the unlucky guy.
No, no, his name is Connell.
Thanks, David.
These are good derailments. I
Did
like
it really
these.
bother you when I call him David?
A lot.
All
Well,
right,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've always known him as Connell, but everyone in his real life calls him Dave, and which is fine. Like, I don't think twice about it. Me and his mother will be having a conversation together, and we'll interchange the name back and forth. I totally get that because, like, my name Atlas is not my legal name, right? So that happens too. I'll get different groups of friends around, and they'll interchange the names, and nobody's bothered by it. For some reason, when I say David or Dave and it comes out of my mouth, it's just tastes gross. It feels weird. I don't like it.
I mean, I can appreciate that because I've been called both my names my entire life,
Yeah.
interchangeably. Like, so I respond to both. I answer to both. I don't have a preference at all, but people have a preference. And when they use one that isn't, you can see them react and just kind of go, no, that doesn't sound right.
Right. Like, I do have a preference in mind, hence the reason I go by Atlas, but it's not like I'm not going to get upset over if someone calls me my other name, like my legal name. I have trauma. I have childhood trauma.
No,
But
that's fair.
I don't know. It's just, it's when I associate someone with a name, that's their name. At period, end of story. Like, you could have told me, like, I don't know, you could have said you pronounce your name Juwan, okay? And if I had called you Juwan from day one, that's what you would have been. And then, like, you're like, actually, it's John. I'd have been like, no, you're Juwan.
To be fair, that's the third variation of my name.
Oh, is it?
Because I grew up in Mallorca. But Mallorca is part of, well, Mallorca speaks Castilian Spanish, which is your traditional Spanish. It also speaks Mallorquin, which is a variant of Catalan. So although Juan is my Spanish name, growing up in Mallorca, I was called Juan.
That's amazing.
Because that is their version. It's spelled Joan.
That's amazing.
I don't go by it because I'm not I know how to speak Catalan, but I'm not a Catalan speaker, as it were, so I don't go by it. But yeah, you could have called me Juan perfectly fine, and I'd have gone, yeah.
I'm a little more cultured than that. That was like when I was in a relationship with someone whose mother refused to speak English, and she and I bonded so well. I loved her so much. And she could not, no, let me rephrase that. She would not pronounce my name without the Spanish accent. So, like, half my name was dropped. Because in Spanish, like, the letters are very silent. And it was very entertaining. It's like nobody knew what she was saying for like about a whole day. And then suddenly it dawned on me, like, oh, she's calling my name. And I've been ignoring her. Whoops. Which is just like my player she keeps doing this. And Megan, if you're watching this or listening to this, yes, I'm calling you out. Happy early birthday, by the way. But she keeps making these characters. I was asking her about a character in my game. And she goes, yeah. And I really think she's describing her character, what she looks like, all these things. And I'm like, okay, what's her name? I can't remember because I can't pronounce it. I'm like, Megan, it's your character. And she starts laughing her head off. And she keeps doing that. She finds these really, really cool names that have these really in-depth meanings behind them. And I love that. I love it when my players or even my GM will come up with names that have meaning tied to the story or the character. Love it. I'm here for it. She just cracks me up because she can never remember the name or how to pronounce it. So I love it. That's great. Have you ever done that? Like, do you pick normal names for your characters, or do you go out of your way to pick really crazy names?
I'm either very elaborate, or I'm very much I want to do a pun. I want to do something or a song lyric, or stuff like that.
Very Dragon Ball Z of you.
Like my, sharpshooter bard from a Pathfinder game that was John Bovey. I enjoyed that. But, for example, the character that I'm building in Winter's game is very much an archer. But it is an archer. It's a monastic archer. So basically it's a monk. It's more rooted in martial arts. And we were talking because it's our own homebrew world. So we were talking about what we could do, and we've created this order of monks. And I basically took the word for rising archer in Spanish and just stylized it to kind of seem like it was more oriental, more sort of Eastern influence. So yeah, there is a meaning behind it. It's not an actual word.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I love that.
I do put a lot of thought into these things. Even if it's a joke, I put a lot of thought into the joke.
Here's the kicker. I will put a lot of thought into the name and the background and the meaning. And then I forget. I can remember my name and I can remember how to pronounce it, but I forget the cool thing. Like my construct, Nereus Call. It's such a cool name. I'm like, yeah, it's a strong name. It has some specific meaning. I switched some of the spelling around so that I could pronounce it and remember it better. I can't remember the meaning. Like I need to write it down on the sheet or something. I'm like, I know it means something super cool, but
all right, so David's asking what the name is. So basically, it is Akira Nascente, which is a stylized version of Akira Naciente, which means rising archer.
I like that.
And she is the heir to the leadership of this thing, and the end bit of the name is their position. So you've got Naciente, you've got Corriente, and you've got Poniente, which is basically rising, current, and setting.
Yeah.
So there are always going to be three of them.
That's cool as hell.
I took heavy cues from, there is a TV show on Apple TV, a sci-fi show, where the leaders of this world are Brother Day, Dawn, Day, Dust.
That's not Foundation, is it?
Foundation, that's the one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That took me, God, I love that show. I love that show so much that I got the book. I'm trying to read the book, but the book is written very, like...
It's tough. Like,
it's tough.
Season 1 is like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah, like...
Season 2's better in that respect. It is very clear as to what time period they're in. Yeah. But Season 1, you bounce around all over the fucking place.
Season 1 is like I'm just going to say, it's a brain fuck. Like, it's like, what just happened? But yeah, I started reading the book and it's almost worse. I'm like, what? Because it's an old book. It's an old book. And I was like,
Asimov,
I did not realize it.
Is it Asimov?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do need to start reading more non-game related books. But yeah, I'm currently reading The One Rings.
Yeah, I'm actually, my holiday tradition, I rewatched Lord of the Rings over and over throughout the whole month of December. So I just binged the extended first and second Fellowship, Two Towers. Yeah, so I'm very much so in the Tolkien mood.
No, that's fair enough. So just going to jump into another quick off the rails.
Oh, yeah.
Entry here. This was by Adventure Engines. I love this one. Oh, well, I'm going to say this before I start. But one thing in particular. It's a freedom mining camp from pirate slavers. Capturing instead of killing all the pirates. Converted pirates to the word of Ross. And in brackets, Bob Ross.
Stop!
Oh
my God.
And the rest of the adventure has a constant recruit, train, arm, and employ our new Rossian acolyte side quest going on. Spent every week for 4 to 5 months with a full page of Bob Ross quotes included in my prep notes for when they checked in on their favorite NPCs. All newly renamed Bob, of course. I love that one.
That's amazing. There's people are amazing. I love that. I think that cakes the cake. Cakes the cake.
It cakes. Episode title. There it is.
It's giving you all sorts of material now.
It's either persuading or cakes the cake.
Persuading the cake.
Persuading the cake.
Persuading.
I do like cakes the cake, though.
Cakes the cake is pretty epic.
Cakes the cake.
Cakes the cake. That might be a new show. That'll be a new segment of the show. Every week we'll find something that cakes the cake.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. And this week, what cakes the cake is Elon Musk saying he wants to buy Hasbro.
Don't even. Like, I
had to mention
it. Fuck you, John. You had to bring it up.
I love everybody, all the 5e players kind of going, if he buys it, I'm never playing. No, you fucking won't. You'll bitch about it for a day and then you'll be back fucking buying it.
Yeah, I don't even John, I know this isn't much about gaming, but every day I wake up and I see a new headline on the news and I'm waiting to wake up a little bit. Like, it is a little bit that surreal. Like, am I in the Matrix? Is this real? Like, it's just so absurd what is going on in the world right now. Both in the world of gaming and, hang on.
I mean, both in the world of gaming.
And in real life. It's just, the times that we live in. Like, I think that gaming is going to be even so much more important for people's mental health.
No,
Like,
we have been lucky to find this hobby. We have been, everyone who plays this hobby has been very fucking fortunate that anything that they could be doing, we have managed to find this. And it is something that you can do. You don't need to invest in. You can just pick up a fucking pen, paper, and get fucking free rules on the internet and just start playing and have that escapism, which, is
people need.
This dumpster fire of a fucking world. It's kind of needed.
Yeah. And you know what I love? Okay, we talk a lot about, like, he said, she said, in the gaming community, in the Threads community. Like, there is a lot of opinions and people voicing, my lotion's not coming out. This is not going to end well. I don't want it to, like, there we go. I guess. Okay. Sorry. And people, okay, what was I saying? All right. And people have,
I don't know. We're stuck on fucking lotion now.
Did you miss me, John?
I gotta say, I can sympathize. I have problems with my lotion coming out from time to time.
Miss you guys.
Doesn't matter how hard I try, that lotion is still fucking stuck in there.
Man, anyways, even as Sam says, grateful for the community here. It's definitely helped me. Yeah, Sam, like, I love you, Sam. You're wonderful. But excuse me. The community has a lot of opinions, a lot of, like, this is the way to do things, this is the way to do things, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of nitpicking and what I would call sibling bickering within the community. We all know this. But, and that is the big thing that I love about this community, is that, like, if an actual wrong was to be done to someone in this community, if an actual, like, injustice was to be done to a group of peoples in this community, the entire community is going to stand up and tell you to fuck off. And, like, we really do bond together over gaming. And I love that. I love it so much. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone that is in our community. Like, each and every one. They're great.
The community is wonderful. I just think people should be a bit more appreciative of me still being nice to people.
John, be nice.
I'm being nice. I'm always nice. I can choose not to be nice. So another one, derailments. And then I'm going to jump straight into saying hello to our partners. But this is from Weirding One Productions. One time a group of villains and rogues in one of my very first campaigns were on an island and had to make it to the other side of the world. So they were like, well, we'll just steal a boat and sail on out of here. They also realized that the presidential palace was also on the island, so they were like, what if we snuck in and killed the president of this small island? So they ended up sneaking into the little dictator's chamber, killing him, members of his staff, as well as... Did you get a Lord Farquaad image? Yeah. I think it was meant that the chamber was little, but the little dictator's is Lord Farquaad. So they ended up sneaking into the little dictator's chamber, killing him, members of his staff, as well as stealing a ship, destroying his galleon in the harbour, as well as the defence towers guarding the small island's main harbour. And my answer was, that's one way of getting a ship.
I mean, yes.
That is one way. You
needed
a ship.
That is one way.
You needed a ship.
You got it.
If you wanted a ship, that's fucking way to do it. Go and kill the owner of an island, and then you have many ships. Take
little dictator.
I like that. I like the imagery of that. I do like the imagery of that.
Little dictator.
All right. So, do you want to put yourself on mute while you're laughing, and I'll just do this? Go on. All right. So, I just want to give a big shout out to 13th Moon Games. It's a family-run indie game company out of Wyoming, USA, that created the tabletop role-playing game Covenant Crucible. It's a game of modern-day witchcraft. If you can imagine the John Wick movies and the last Witch Hunter movie got together and had a really pretty baby, Covenant and Crucible would be it. If you want to learn more or are interested in joining the official Discord game, check them out on Instagram. Then, step into a universe where fandoms collide. Welcome to Crossing the Nerdverse, your ultimate portal into all things geeky and glorious. Whether you're into comics, gaming, or sci-fi, we've got you covered. Discover the exclusive interviews, epic debates, and insider tips from your favorite creators. Join the adventure at crossingthenerdverse.com and unleash your inner nerd. Embrace the passion, celebrate the culture. Crossing the Nerdverse, where every fan finds their place. And also, if you want to support us, like this video, subscribe to our channel, which helps massively. Also, we've got a merch store where you can find our branded merch, you can find our Moves Like Atlas merch, or even our waffle weird merch that I thought was a good idea. I think it
It's
is.
a good idea. That's my favorite shirt. I accidentally bought that shirt like 3 sizes too big, and it is my favorite. I just walk around the house in that shirt. It's just a big ass waffle with headphones on it.
If
It's
you love
wonderful.
Supernatural and you love what we do, you need that shirt in your life. Also, we've got a coffee account where you can come and give us a one-time donation. Also, subscribe to our $3 a month tier. You'll get exclusive access to our Traveler's Chalice. And, you'll get a mention on our credits and you'll get free maps when I get round to doing them. Just you'll have a closer connection to us. And, we just love building this community. Other than that, let's go to another submission, shall we? Like I say, I got quite a few of them.
Yeah, I know. I was actually just thinking derailing happens a lot in our game, but it's never like in character.
I've got a story about derailing.
It's never in.
I mean, my games are normally derailed by me because someone will say something, someone will do something which I think's funny, and I think there's a joke there. So I turn it into I just put it into the narrative. Like in I think we played Trouble. I think it's one of the Pathfinder adventures, and one of the players was talking to one of the NPCs, and I don't know what they said that prompted me to kind of go, whoa. I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in that sort of thing. And that was the whole game from then on. It was every time this player would talk to an NPC, the NPC thought they were coming onto them. And I even created this whole mythos because at one point she had a bunch of fucking whatever in her hand, and she went, just throw it on the ground, and it's like, that's soliciting in this town, and shit like that. And it just got so
fantastic.
derailed.
That sounds absolutely fantastic.
So this is NH Clendenin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
I don't know if you are.
NH Clendenin. We're going to leave it at NH Clendenin. I hope I'm pronouncing your
Sounds like a play on words of clandestine, but
yeah, possibly.
I don't know.
They spent a few weeks preparing a city for their first campaign. He got input from them, trying in their backstories and the kind of vibe they like to play in. Session 1, they start describing their party approach into the city to start their adventure. Fucked off straight into the ocean, improvised an impromptu seafaring camp.
Well, okay, I love that, a lot. A lot. I've been sitting here going, man.
I think that's fucking brilliant. I think
that's amazing.
And I just like the use of fucked off straight into the ocean.
Yeah.
It just, that sounds like me speaking.
I think I never played characters that give me the opportunity to derail. They're always very methodical. This is the plan. This is the plan. This is the plan. Or they're the leaders, right? Leaders don't technically tend to fuck off into the ocean, except once. And then I think about it. That story just made me think of it. We were supposed to be transporting a white dragon to, I don't know if it's castle or a keep or something, but we were transporting a white dragon. And very long story short, the moment was to be decided within the group of do we break the dragon out or do we not? And before any sense could be made or had, we were on the road with the carded dragon in a city. There are people around. And next thing we know, one of our players is blowing the hinges off the box and the dragon gets out. And I genuinely don't remember what I was thinking, either in character or out of character, but my character somehow jumped up on the dragon's wing and started using the chains that been on the dragon, pulley chain, almost parasailing this dragon out to sea. I don't know what my plan was. I think that's the closest I've ever been to a derailment, though. We were supposed to get the dragon to the castle, and instead I ended up sailing the dragon.
So I was running my homebrew Pathfinder campaign, and I'd created a whole murder mystery in a city. The city's called Quantium. It is an actual established city in Pathfinder, but they didn't have, there's nothing really written on it. So it exists in Pathfinder as a world, but I had to pretty much not improvise it, but create it. So one thing about Quantium, it is a city of very powerful mages. It is, in terms of magical ability, it is the most powerful city in the world. Part of this murder mystery, I needed one of the victims to be an elite sort of warrior. So I created a sort of pastime where it was basically just like a gladiatorial arena. But then I think it was quite last minute. I decided I'm bored. That just seems too typical. So what I decided to do was, instead of having it as an actual gladiatorial arena, is I basically made it WWE. So it's fake. It's, and I also, because it's a magical city, I gave the city the ability to transmit the happenings in this gladiator all over the city by
That's cool.
So basically it was TV. I invented an analogy for TV. And it was my sort of throwaway joke. That's what all it was. It was, there was one of the people on the roster was one of the victims and they had to investigate. So it was a throwaway joke of, instead of gladiatorial arena, let's make it WWE for shits and gigs. Well, I didn't expect it to be as fucking popular as it was, because two of the players were like, yeah, our characters are going to stay up all night watching WWE.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Like, okay, you'll be fatigued the next day. It's like, yeah, we're fatigued. Fuck it. We're staying up all night watching WWE.
You should.
And it's like, right, where do we get tickets? We want to go. We want to get tickets. So I had to create an entire portion of this session.
How much? I would say, was it a session? Was it multiple sessions? How much time did this take up in your story?
It didn't take up entire sessions, but it was large parts of sessions. It became so what's your character doing? And okay, I'm off to investigate this, or we're just going to go bed down for the night. It's like, oh no, Drake and Theron are in the fucking room practicing WWE moves.
Oh my God, I love that. That's fantastic.
So they bought tickets. So I had to basically do I think it was about 10 to 15 minutes narration of what happened in this episode of the Quantum Fighting League.
My God.
And I pulled from like my times watching WWE as like from years back, and I had it was so much fucking fun. It was a lot of fun, but it was a really fun derail.
Oh my God. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun.
I don't know if I've had a derailment session or even like a beach episode session in my game yet. I feel like I should, just for the lightheartedness of it, but I don't know. Like,
I don't think you've played enough with me. I don't derail as a player because I don't want to do that to the GM.
That's fair.
I derail as a GM.
As the GM.
Oh, although Couch's Fabula game the other day, it didn't get derailed, but I could see Couch was kind of going. So he set up this thing where we were in an illusion sort of adventure. By somebody had put us there. So Chris, Daryl, and I, after the third or fourth sort of little combat, we just basically started insulting the person that put us in there. And we had to explain, this is not us being belligerent. This is our characters trying to provoke, to get this person to show themselves. Yeah. So it was fucking brutal. It was funny.
I think sometimes you have to put that disclaimer out there, because I think that sometimes, like, one of our dear friends gets super passionate when they're role playing, and he gets so angry and he gets so upset and he gets so heated. If there's a blur of a moment where sometimes we all look across the table at each other and we're like, is this in character? Like, we're like, does he need? So he's gotten to the point now where he prefaces it. He's like, guys, I'm good. This is my motive. This is where I'm headed with the character. And he'll just go off. We're like, okay, all right.
I had to do that in the previous Fabula game with Couch, the one that we recorded. I had to go, this is the Lyra not being belligerent. This is how she is. She is a disrespectful shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And like almost the opposite. I had to, so my last 2 sessions ago, I don't know. I just played a game where I play my construct. She's, to put it as blatantly layman as possible, she is the Iron Giant made into a Jedi. Okay, so like metal construct, super sci-fi. She's not that big. She's only like 7'2" or something like that. But she's basically a Jedi. She's a guide, and she. Hi, Bella Bear. Sorry, Bella. I left my door open on accident, baby. But she. Where is it going with this? Belligerent, right? So this wannabe heir to the throne. I'm not getting into the details of whether he actually is or not. Basically threatens our group and is like, you're going to do as I say, or else I'm going to nuke the entire planet. And my character knows certain things about that race of people and knows certain things about what that prince, so-called prince, wants. So she, over the comms, and I had to clarify this with Connell, because Connell and I will have this thing where I'll say something, and at the GM, he's like, oh, so you're taunting the NPC? I'm like, no, like, I'm not picking a fight. So I had to do that. I was like, listen, she's stating this as matter of fact as possible. This is a robotic statistic based off of her readings of everybody in the party and her ability to kind of foresee where things are going. And I flat out told the prince, who's all high and mighty and like, I get what I want, I do what I want. She flat out told him, she's like, you nuke the planet, you're never getting through the Stargate. It's not a Stargate, it's a warp gate. So
Yeah.
And it was this moment where, because of how Atlas says it, it came across as like, fuck you, you do that, I'm never giving you what you want. And I had to be very clear, like, that is not how Nereus is meaning it to come out. So I think it's important sometimes to preface very heated moments.
Yeah. I mean, especially because of my personality and because people know me, it's like, is this the character, or is John just being a dick?
Right. Yeah. It's very much so like same. Except instead of Atlas being a dick, it's like, oh, is Atlas starting a fight? Or
yeah, Couch had to actually explain that to one of the other players in the Fabula game. Just you go, I don't know if John's pissed off with me. He's like, he's not. His character's pissed off at your character.
Yeah, but it's all in game. It's in game. It's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty much all we've got kind of time for tonight.
Man, today flew.
Yeah, it really did. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Definitely it really is good to be back. It's good to be back doing this. It's good to be back seeing Connell and Sam and everyone else in the chat.
Yeah.
I've missed this. I have.
I miss our little party. This is our little adventuring party.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And, hopefully that adventuring party will grow.
Connell's taunting me in the chat. Sorry. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
Sam said she once got yelled at by Ric Flair.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
I want to know that story.
Yeah, Sam, I'm going to get that story from Sam, and then I'm going to have to talk about it next week.
Yeah, definitely. Sam, you got to tell us that story. How did you get yelled at by Ric Flair? What did you do to piss Ric Flair off?
All the things.
All right. So, thank you to everyone who's joined us in the chat today. It's been really good hanging out with you. It's really good to be back. Atlas, thank you for spending some time with me this evening. Do you want to tell people whereabouts on the interwebs they can find you?
Yes. My computer's beeping at me. I need to turn sounds off. I'm like, what is beeping at me? Yeah, you can find me on TikTok or Threads or Instagram. Atlas Ursa, Atlas like the Titan, Ursa like the bear. I mean, Atlas like the bear works too.
You got it. I
am Atlas the bear. But yeah, come hang out. Come follow me wherever you want. I'm very interactive on Threads. The most is where I'm the most interactive. TikTok, I'll just smile and wave. But
so as for me, you can find me behind most of our social media presences. I'm too legit to create over on Blue Sky, which is kind of picking up. It's becoming a bit more active. Also on Instagram, I'm at natural.guan on Threads. That's where you're going to probably get most of me. I'm also the same on Mastodon. So come and say hi. Come on, let's, introduce yourselves. Tell me the sort of shit that you're working on. I'm looking forward to kind of finding
adventures
that out.
Together.
Yeah, exactly. And that said in not a non-creepy way. So you can also catch up with everything we do at toolegit2crit.uk. You can interact with us on any of our socials or emailing at questions at toolegit2crit.uk. Like I said before, like, subscribe, help us grow, help us build. And other than that, most importantly, I just want to thank every one of you for spending some of your valuable time listening to two idiots waffle on about tabletop role-playing games. Thank you very much. Good night.